Alrighty, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching from. A big welcome back once again to our channel here with Elite Raceway. We are here for continuing our week 2 of season 7 with our tier 2 group, and we are looking forward to seeing this race. We had a great tier 1 race on Saturday, which was commentated by our Dutchman Game Boy. So make sure you give that video a little bit of a view and a like to show a bit of appreciation. But yes, in the commentators booth, you do have me, league owner and tier admin, La Rodri, and yeah, ready to give this group a little bit of their spotlight. So I do believe we have 16 drivers at the moment. We do. Might be having 3 more drivers joining in, depending on if they are awake. Unfortunately, high RPM and Honey Burger both in the Middle Eastern, so I do believe our North American daylight saving may have affected them, but well, we shall see. And we are possibly going to be having Iparazzo, who is our full-time Ferrari driver, joining in the mid-qualifying session. So hopefully he gets home on time. If not, no worries. We will be back, of course, next week for another race. But yeah, looking back at our tier 2 grid, we don't have anybody debuting on their first race with us today. So, yeah, lots of them being returning drivers. We've seen already a few rivals already forming in terms of both the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. And we had a really great race last week in Bahrain. So, uh, looking at the standings, we already have our first round of standings come out. So, Mama Smith, who is going to be our first leader of the season at the moment for the championship standings after having won really confidently, probably stress-free last week in Bahrain. So did score a total of 37 points. We did have in second Red Panda, who is currently out on an out lap and is going to actually be starting his lap soon, so we'll stay on board with him. So yes, Oh Mama Smith with 37 points. Red Panda, 7 points behind, finishing in second last week with 30 points after actually managing his first ever ERA podium. So, big congratulations to him. Very well deserved. We saw some incredible pace, and honestly, really looking forward to seeing what he's able to put in for the rest of the season. And in third, we also had Hafrenix. So, Hafrenix with 27 points. So, yeah, looks like it's going to be an interesting front row. We did have, just taking a quick look at the Discord chat. Yeah, we did have a lot of rivals forming up, so we will be seeing a bit more for the rest of the season. And yeah, looking at the Constructors' Championship, even in the McLaren, as I predicted, were looking like a very strong team. Both the drivers, that is Red Panda along with Vroom, managing to finish up in the top 5 last week, put in a really consistent performance, put themselves a good 54 points on the grid or on the list, and yeah, tied with 45 points. We have the Ferrari and Mercedes team. So yeah, both those teams starting off really strong, having a driver on the podium. We do have Red Panda, who is going to be coming around here on the final corner. We'll see what he's able to put in. And so Red Panda is going to put in a 133.1. And ooh, looks like exists mentioning that his wheel disconnected mid-corner. So hopefully, I can see he retired from the session. Hopefully that does not happen during the race, and especially not when you're tailing right behind another driver. I hope not. Let's see. I'm just taking a quick look at the live chat. So, a big thank you to our viewers who are currently watching at the moment. I do see Nation Plays asking if this tier allows any assist like line. So, this is our limited assist tier. This is tier 2. We do have certain assists permitted for open for them to use. So they do have corner line. They don't have the full racing line, but they do have corner line. They do have ABS, anti-lock brakes, and they do have automatic gears. So they are able to change the gears or allow the game to change it for them. Um, in terms of other assists, they do have DRS and ERS assists off. They do have over here the entering the pit lane assists off, and they do have traction control off. So it does make it quite more fair in terms of conditions where, for example, in the rain, you don't have one driver who is on rails compared to another one struggling a little bit to get the traction in. Let's see, we do have a few reserves present today, and one of them is Kern Dog, who is actually about to put his lap in, and is going to put in a 134.6. So I put him up into 7th, and so Kern Dog, who this is his second race with Tier 2, had a really good performance last week. I do believe he finished in the top 10, and yeah, honestly, he does. I think he is using this group as an extra, as a little bit of practice, as he is our Gnosis Division 2 driver who races on Wednesday. And Nation Play, I do see you would like to join, but you think you might be too fast. Well, yeah, you're also welcome to join our Discord channel if you want to submit your times, and I can confirm if which group you'd probably be in. We do have our Tier 1 group that races on Saturday. Not exactly sure your time zone, but that is 3:30 p.m. Eastern, although for this week it will be 4:30 p.m. considering we do have the daylight savings, and that group is primarily European based. So ooh, it looks like we do have up in the front Red Panda, who looks to be trying to improve on his time. Managed to put in a little bit of a purple second sector, and so Red Panda, who did put up, if I'm not mistaken, a front row qualifying last week in Bahrain. And I'll take a quick look at that actually to confirm. And he did. And so it looks like Red Panda is going to keep that second at the moment, 133.1. We do have Wilson Hues, who is currently holding provisional pole of 132.5. And Wilson Hues, who has honestly been quite a standout improvement this since last season, did manage to get his first ever podium last season, and has honestly shown that he's putting in plenty of practice. So yeah, very, very curious to know how he's going to do this season. And Nations Play, regarding the Discord link, we do have the Discord link in the YouTube description, so you can actually log in through there. I'm pretty sure that invite hasn't expired. I'll take a quick look, and it looks like it is working. So yeah, you could definitely hop on. You could send me privately your time trials, or even fill out an application, and we'll just figure everything out from there. I will be taking a look at it afterwards, of course, after we're done with this race. But so please be patient. But we'll definitely look back at that, and yeah, perfect. Okay. And so, yeah, we do have, looks like the majority of our drivers who have already put in a lap time. Unfortunately, we do have Variable Zeus, who I didn't mention it when it happened, but I did see it, got disqualified for facing the wrong way. So very unfortunate for Variable Zeus. Although last week in Bahrain was his first ever race with us, recently joining the league, and honestly still managed to finish the race. So head down. I do believe last week he started from the back as well, so it might be a comfortable place to be. But let's see, we do have Buddha, who is going to be putting in a lap. Does have a driver ahead of him, but I don't think they'll be close enough to really interfere with him. And actually, it looks like Nations Plate. I already know who you are, so all right, no problem then. Okay. So I saw you join the Discord. Thank you for joining. Alrighty, but oh, it looks like Buddha unfortunately invalidating, having to go in once again. Oh, he is going to be entering the pit lane with quite a bit of speed, and so that is a very tricky pit entry. We have seen in the past. I don't think we saw it much on tier one, but I have definitely seen it in the past where drivers go in with a little bit too much speed, and unfortunately just collecting that barrier. But yeah, Buddha unfortunately having to be forced to go around once again. I do believe we have Room, who is currently putting in a lap. Does to seem to have improved there in sector one. We'll see here in sector two. Though he just started, he does have. Actually, no, looks like no, he doesn't have any driver ahead of him, so he has plenty of clean air. And so, as I mentioned, in case anybody is tuning in at just now, we are currently at the Circuit of the Americas here in the Austin track. Ooh, looks like Vroom is actually up by 7/10, and that can actually put him up quite a number of positions. Wilson West improving even further, putting in a 132.0, and so a tenth, less than a tenth faster than Oh Mama Smith. So Wilson West definitely putting in some practice for this track. Vroom currently finishing up here in sector 3. And so Vroom going to cross the line is going to put in a 134.8 and actually did improve by a second, almost a second and a half. Unfortunately, not only able to climb up one position, but just less than 2/10 away from Kern Dog. And so, yeah, I do. Actually, yes, you're right, Kyle. That was a second. And so regarding the track, so it is a 5.513 kilometer track. We do have a total of 20 corners, 11 left-handers, 9 right-handers, 2 DRS activation zones. So there is going to be plenty of overtaking opportunities for these drivers. Let's see, we don't have anybody who is putting in a lap. Buddha, who unfortunately invalidated last lap, is going to have to go out once again. There does appear to be plenty of time for the qualifying session. And I see Buddha on the Discord. And let's see, it looks like we actually do have the Aston Martin of Eingel, who is putting in a lap at the moment. Hafernix, who hasn't started one yet, looks to be on a banker lap. But Eingel, who was a little bit unlucky last week, unfortunately getting disconnected, and so his AI finishing pretty much the whole race for him. So hopefully he doesn't get disconnected again and is able to participate within the race. But Eingel, who is finishing up here by sector 2, going a tad bit deep. And I do see we have the McLaren of Red Panda, who actually managed to improve on his time, putting himself up once again in the front row of 132.4. And it looks like we have High RPM, who has managed to join in the race. So High RPM, who has about 3 minutes left in the qualifying session. Not sure if he's going to prefer starting from the back or try using these final minutes of the session to put in a lap time. And so it looks like Eingel not able to improve. Hafernix has started his lap time now. And I do see we have yellow flags. That might be Red Panda, who appears to be out of fuel. So actually, no, it looks like a little bit of a driver error, but looks like his green flags are out. Oh, I'm probably not exactly sure what's happening around him. But Hafernix appears to be up by a second, and so that could definitely move him up a couple of positions here. So Hafernix, who has been with us for quite a few seasons already, he does race in... does he race in Division 2? He does race in Nosa's Division 2. Our Argentinian friend. And so yes, another race day for practice for him. But Hafrenix, who is going to cross the line, and we'll see if he's able to improve. He does improve by over a second, and so Hafrenix putting himself up into fifth, a 133.7. His teammate right behind him with a 133.9. So Mercedes team looking quite strong here. Getting a little bit of the Australia flashback from from Saturday night race. Well, looks like we do have Buddha, who is coming out of the pit lane and looking to try setting in a lap. Has been a little bit unfortunate earlier in this session, having invalidated a few times. And looks like Higher PM has selected his car, so he is going to be reserving in the kick salver for today. Alrighty, and looks like we do have yellow flags. That appears to be Niklaus, who is stopped on the track. Hopefully doesn't get invalidated or disqualified here since he is standing still. But oh, and then just as I say that, yeah, I was going to give a little bit of a tip to maybe move the car just a tad bit, but looks like unfortunately, yeah, having to be disqualified there. And looks like we do have both Higher PM and Buddha who are currently on an out lap. So it looks like Higher PM going to use these last couple seconds to try putting in a lap time. And looks like we do have Old Mama Smith, who is ahead of Buddha, is currently our our leader in the standings after having, as I mentioned before, having won last week in Bahrain. So we will be keeping an eye on these two drivers. I did mention Buddha last week is an incredible driver. Does have really great pace, and so I could definitely see him up in the front, battling for the title. But we'll take a look here at Omama Smith, who is going to be finishing in Sector 1, is up on his time. And looking back at Buddha, we won't be able to see if he's able to improve, but at least to have an idea on if there's been any mistake or any invalidation of a lap. And looks like we also do have Wilson West, who is actually up ahead of Omama Smith and is looking to improve even further. So Wilson West, who is currently holding provisional pole, this might actually be his first ever pole if he's able to actually hold it. But Wilson West, a little bit of a wiggle right there on the exit, does put in a purple second sector. And so we'll take a look at Wilson West, who is finishing up his lap time, does have a little bit of battery there to save for a little bit of lockup, it seems, but keeping the car straight, is going to cross the line. Unfortunately, is down on his time, so he's going to have to hold on to that 132.0. All Mama Smith, who is going to cross the line and finishes in second, does improve by almost a second, but unfortunately not enough to get past Wilson West. And Buddha, who managed to put in that one lap time, putting himself up in the second row, so a 132.9 for Buddha. And we do have High RPM, who is looks like might have retired, not exactly sure, but looks like Iparazu unfortunately messaging me just as the qualifying session ended, so that's very, very unfortunate. Let me just message the Yeah, it's very unfortunate for you, Peraza. But anyways, going back to make sure we read over this, we do have Wilson Juez on pole position, his first ever pole position. So big congratulations to him. Incredible time. And second, we have Oh Mama Smith, Red Panda, Buddha, Hulkenbro, MGZ, Guardians, Halfernix, Untradeable Teammate, and Kern Dog. That is our top 10. And as the timer goes down, we'll take a look afterwards. But incredible time from Wilson Juez. As I mentioned, has shown incredible improvement, and honestly, very much looking forward to seeing what he's able to do for the rest of the season. Uh, just waiting to see once Our information is up. There we go. So that was our top 10. In 11th, we have Vroom, Angel in 12th, Nobody's Outlaw in 13th, Higher PM in 14th, Exists 15, Niklaus 16, and Variable Teammate 17. The last two, actually last three, unfortunately, getting having to retire or get disqualified from the session. So very unfortunate for them. Iparazu, I will send you a message. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. And so looking at our tier one race, yeah, very unfortunate, Perazzi, you can't join into the session anymore. But yeah, anyways, looking to our race strategy from our tier one group, our top drivers. We do have a grand majority of them having started on the mediums. Majority of them opting for the one snap, which I think worked out pretty well from what I saw as on the stream as Game Boy commentated. They did. There was one driver who started on the hard compounds, taking the hard compounds all the way to lap 16, and the mediums going as far as 13 laps in use. I think one driver actually had 13 laps in use, and so yeah, of course, it does depend on every driver's pace, every driver's tire management. Um, this is a very technical track, especially Sector 1. So, yeah, tire management is going to be very important. That turn one is a very steep uphill braking zone. So, uh, I'm getting notifications on Discord. Let me turn that off. Yes, and from turns 2 all the way to 6, we do have those fast flowing S's. So, yeah, I'm curious to know actually how everybody's wings are going to be on this track. You do need quite a strong front end grip uh, for that sector one, but then of course you also don't want to lose that straight line speed in sector two. So, yeah, something I'll ask them afterwards. We did have a few hints in tier one regarding certain drivers' race setups. And Exist mentioning he could have gotten top five if his wheel hadn't gotten disconnected. So shoulda, coulda, woulda. Very famous quote from Max Verstappen applies here. We'll just have to see for next week if you're able to put it on the top five. Alrighty. Alrighty, so they do have the ready up. Let me get all that information down, although it does look like a grand majority are going to be starting on the medium tires, although of course some like to switch it up as I remove the list as the timer goes down. And exists also mentioning a last to first challenge. So yeah, I would definitely if that happens, I would definitely give you a driver of the day nominee. Alrighty, so we do have the timer going down. All right, perfect. Okay, so they do have a formation lap on at the moment. We'll take a quick look at everybody's tire strategy. So it looks like we do have only 3 drivers having started on the hard compounds, the grand majority of them on the mediums. Omama Smith, Hulkenbro, and Vroom starting on the hard compounds. Omama Smith might be struggling a little bit there on the opening lap. We did see Stevie struggle in Tier 1. Did qualify in second, dropped down quite a number of positions in the opening lap due to those cold tires. But of course, as I mentioned, every driver is different. So looking forward to seeing what Omama Smith is going to be able to do there on the opening lap and try defending against drivers like Red Panda and Buddha. And looks like we do have the two Mercedes drivers opting to start on the same strategy. So both of them on the medium tires. I think they do both have quite equal pace. Of course, the double stack is going to be very impactful if that does happen. But ooh, for a second it looked like a car was going to go sideways. But yeah, they are going to be warming up those tires here on the formation lap. And let's get all this information in terms of the... And I do see Colonel Dog mentioning... So if there was any impeding, you could definitely submit that uh, in the incident reports. Of course, our stewards also look at incidences during the qualifying session. It's not only in the race. So yeah, if you feel like you were impeded or your lap was affected by another driver, then of course you can submit a message there into the reports, and stewards will happily lining up. Unfortunately, Havernick's disqualifying might have taken the car a little bit too much further past the line, but all our drivers are on the grid, and we will be having the lights going out soon. That was a very brief yellow flags, but it looks like we do have 5 lights. And lights off, and away they go. And does Wilson Hues manage to keep that lead? And looks like he does have an incredible launch right there. Buddha managing to briefly climb up a couple of positions, but unfortunately he's going to be losing out that. And looks like we did have a little bit of ghosting. Not exactly sure if that was from one of the drivers, but we do have Nobody's Outlaw, who has dropped down a couple of positions there, dropping down 4 positions. We do have a few in the mid pack, and very close racing from all the drivers there. Literally side by side. Looks like high RPM might be... Actually, no, looks like Kern Dog might be lagging, although that might be from high RPM side. We have seen high RPM in the past lag a little bit. Oof, and looks like RPM might actually be the driver who's having a little bit of connection problems there, but looks like Vroom is going to get past a number of positions there. Climbing up 2 and getting past Red Panda and Omama Smith. As I mentioned, Omama Smith, who did start on those hard compounds, and is right alongside here. Buddha trying to get the move done on Wilson Hues, looking for the switchback, and actually managed to get it done. And so Wilson Hues losing the position there to Buddha. And we do have Red Panda, who has a bit of a gap comfortably behind of Wilson Hues and ahead of Omama Smith, although of course those hard compounds are going to be kicking in a couple of laps. And so we do have a DRS enabled now, and Buddha is going to be our race leader at the moment. And so up in the back, we do have Havernick, who has managed to get the overtake done on Vroom. Vroom having started on the hard compounds. And looks like we do have a little bit of side-by-side racing between here the 2 Aston Martin drivers, and high RPM ghosting right through Eingel. And I think high RPM might be the driver giving them a little bit of issues there. And let me see if I can actually mention it on the... Let's see if I can actually message him, because we didn't have this issue last week. Oh, and it looks like we do have yellow flags. That appears to be exist going off the track, and oof, and yeah, looks like that's going to be a little bit of an issue there. But high RPM looking to get the move on the inside of Eingel, does manage to get the move done. And so high RPM moving up a position up into 7th. He has climbed up 7 positions. Although I do wonder if he's ghosted through the majority of the drivers, but... But looks like our most position loss there is from Guardians, down 8 positions. We do have Red Panda, who has put in the fastest lap at the moment, does put in a 1:36.5, has lost the car and unfortunately into the barrier. And so Red Panda, who was right catching up close to Wilson, who has unfortunately having to back up on the track. Luckily, ghosting is enabled, so there will be no harm there to the other drivers. But Red Panda, who even last week struggled a little bit with the traction and unfortunately lost the. He didn't. He only lost 2 positions last week, but gained it back. But yeah, once again, it happening here in COTA, and so Red Panda losing more positions from last week compared to last week, now down to 9th, and I do believe he's picked up damage. We'll take a quick look to see if he did right here with the broadcast view, and looks like we do have Untradeable Teammate who is closing in right behind him. And so Red Panda, who is missing those both end plates, and Untradeable Teammate, who struggled right there on the exit, and trying to get the move done here on Hulkenberg, but unfortunately not able to keep that position. So Hulkenberg gaining a position there. And up ahead, we did actually have Buddha and Wilson Hues still battling it out, and Buddha keeping the lead at the moment. Both of them actually increasing the gap ahead of Omama Smith, so by over 4.5 seconds. And so Mama Smith, who actually has MGZ right on his tail as well. MGZ, who is going to be having the DRS behind of the Ferrari. And can he be close enough to make a move here into turn 1? He might not be able to. He does not have enough battery to really drain to try getting that overtake done. But he is going to be remaining right behind of the Ferrari. A little bit of a wiggle there on the exit, but keeping the car straight now. And so Red Panda, who looks to not be looking to pit, is going to be remaining on the track. Does, as I mentioned, have that both missing end plates, and is going to be struggling there on the S's in in sector 1. And so Hulkenberg, who manages to get the overtake done, that those S's in COTA are going to be a bit of a pain if you do have that wing damage. And so yeah, Red Panda, who now has Untradeable Teammate right behind him. Oof, and a little bit of a... almost losing the car there on the exit. But does have the DRS right behind of Hulkenberg, and looks like that is going to actually give him a little bit of that straight line speed, those those missing head plates. And so Red Panda managing to steal that position back from Hulkenberg, although Hulkenberg trying to get it back, giving Red Panda a little bit of a battle. Is Hulkenberg going to try going there on the inside? Is going to be able to get the move, and he is going to make it stick. So Hulkenberg staying ahead of Red Panda in 9th. Untradeable Teammate trying to go around on the outside. Can he make a stick as well? Looks like no, he's going to stay right behind of the McLaren. I will say Red Panda, even with the wing damage, is actually doing a phenomenal job giving them a little bit of a battle. Using up that battery to try to defend that position. Untradeable Teammate possibly looking to make a move on the outside. He's going to try going for the switchback. Isn't going to be close enough to get the move done. And a little bit of a risk going side by side here on the S's. And so Untradeable Teammate is going to remain right behind of the McLaren. Does have an opportunity to make an overtake on the next DRS, and looks like we do have some penalties coming out as well. So Hulkenberg and Eingel coming out with the 3-second penalties. And it looks like we had a couple of lagging in the first laps, mainly around high RPM, but looks like it has calmed down. And as we mentioned, high RPM, looks like high RPM getting the move done there on Kurndog. And so High RPM, who has actually managed to climb up 9 positions. And looking back to these two drivers, Untradeable Teammate still unable to get the move done on the McLaren of Red Panda. And looks like up ahead, Buddha has actually managed to increase the gap ahead of Wilson Hues. So now over 2 seconds ahead. Wilson Hues, who does have a little bit of a comfortable gap, still of over 5 seconds ahead of Omama Smith. And looks like MGZ has also pushed back a little bit from Omama Smith as well. He was less than a second, now over a second right behind of the Ferrari. Oh, it looks like we do have yellow flags, and that appears to be the Aston Martin of Angel possibly losing the car there and on the exit of turn one, and has lost quite a few positions there. And so Hulkenbro, Red Panda, an untradeable teammate getting past, and unfortunately Angel still struggling to get the traction and into the barrier, unfortunately losing that left. Was it the left? That is the right end plate there, and so Angel suffering unfortunately with a bit of damage there from that incident. Up ahead, High RPM has managed to get the overtake done on MGZ, so now climbing up 10 positions. And is MGZ going to try battling for that position back? And unfortunately, it looks like he's going to remain right behind. And so High RPM remaining ahead, now currently up into 4th. And looks like Untradeable Teammate has actually managed to finally get the move done on the McLaren of Red Panda. So Red Panda, who has dropped down 7 positions from after having started up there in the second row. So yeah, very unfortunate there for Red Panda. But of course, you never know; anything can happen. We didn't have a safety car with Tier 1. However, of course, anything can happen. We have seen it happen on this track, even though we do have plenty of runoff space. But as we've seen, we have seen plenty of drivers into the barrier. So yeah, anything can happen. Well, it looks like we do have a close battle here between the Haas of MGZ and the Kicksauber of High RPM. Oh, it looks like we do have a yellow flags, and that appears to be Guardians, who is back to being unghosted, but I am curious to know if he picked up any damage, if he may have gotten into the barrier, and looks like he did, and unfortunately losing both his end plates as well. So both Red Panda and Guardians rocking the similar look. And I do wonder if Guardians is actually going to try holding out, as Red Panda is just continuing on with the race. And looks like Vroom as well, having dropped down a couple positions there as well. Now right on the back of Variable Zeus, sitting in 17th. And Vroom with the DRS does have a little bit of battery here to use. And can he get the overtake done? Is going to try making a move right there on the inside. And can he make a stick? And it looks like he is going to be able to do it, with both drivers giving each other just enough space. And so Vroom moving up a position there. Meanwhile, his teammate, less than a second behind of untradeable teammate, is within the DRS, but unfortunately not able to get a move done there into turn 1. And Hulkenberg, who has actually managed to increase the gap. Looks like those medium tires might be wearing down now, with Hulkenberg now increasing that gap to over 2 seconds. Hulkenberg does have 3 seconds of penalties. However, we will see how that plays off there at the end. And looking back in the front, looks like Kerndog has actually joined the party as well, between the battle of High RPM and MGZ. So Kerndog, who trying to remain less than a second behind of the Haas ahead of him. Oh, looks like we do have Broom who has gotten the move done on Niklaus there in the back. So we are currently on lap 9 out of 28 laps here in COTA. Doesn't look like it's going to be any cloudy skies, any rain coming in soon. I do believe they mentioned it is going to be a dry race, which is unfortunate for us commentators, as I personally do like to see a little bit of rain. but they're giving plenty of great racing even on dry conditions. Kurndog, who still does have MGZ in his sight, and is he going to be able to stay close enough to get the DRS here on the next upcoming straight? MGZ might be pushed out here behind of high RPM. We'll take a quick look at him to see if he was pushed out from the DRS, and looks like he was. Kurndog, who does now have the DRS there on MGZ, doesn't look to be close enough to get a move, although it looks like a bit of a rocket ship there on the straight, and looks like he is going to be able to get the move done. And so MGZ trying to defend the inside, both of them giving just enough space. And can Kurndog try attacking once again? Looks like he isn't going to be able to get that overlap, but remaining right behind of the Haas. So really nice racing between these two drivers, and Kurndog does have a bit of a comfortable gap ahead of Hafrenix of over 4 seconds, although with that battling that can reduce that gap, and Kurndog going a little bit wide. Definitely has to be cautious with those track limits, and looks like that did impact him a little bit, now getting pushed out over a second behind of MGZ. Still manages to catch the DRS behind of the Haas, but not close enough to now make a move. Ooh, it looks like we do have Hulkenbro, who has gotten disconnected. Let me see if I can send him a quick invite. Hopefully he's well aware that he got disconnected, and unlike Heingo. And unfortunately, he does have untradeable teammate who is going to be closing in behind him. So yeah, untradeable teammate who is now closing that gap behind of the Williams driver. Eingale now picking up another 3-second penalty, so that is 6 seconds in total for the Aston Martin. And it looks like Kurndog not giving up, managing to close that gap once again right behind of MGZ. So I think these two are going to be quite an interesting battle towards the end. We'll keep an eye on them too. Although looking up in the front, Mama Smith now using those hard compounds to his advantage. Juez with the 9-lap-old, well, going to be 10-lap-old medium tires. And Mama Smith now reducing that gap. And it looks like we do have our first driver to pull the trigger, and that is actually going to be Kurndog entering the pit lane, and is going to be switching out of those medium tires. And so looks like he's going to be switching over to the hard compounds, and so most likely opting for that one stop. And so now up in the front, the Ferrari of Mama Smith now closing that gap up to less than 2 seconds behind of Juez. And I do see Hulkenberg saying he's going to restart. No problem. I'll send you another invite if that one doesn't work. Just message me. I always have my Discord open just to make sure. In these instances, well, looks like untradeable teammate did manage to get the overtake done on the ghosted car of Hulkenberg, who did get disconnected. And we do have Red Panda, who has now gotten rid of the medium tires, now on a fresh set of hards. And looks like he did lose that extra time due to getting that wing fixed. And we do have a driver up in the front. So nobody's outlaw who did lose the car there, but looks like he's going to still keep that gap ahead of Exist. But looks like Hulkenberg's AI doing a phenomenal job to retake that position that was lost. So tradable teammates is having a little bit of a battle here with the ghosted car of Hulkenberg. And looks like up in the front we do have Buddha, who was our race leader, now having pit, now switching over to a fresh set of hard compounds. And so very curious to know how this is going to play out with Mama Smith opting for the reverse strategy. And looks like Hulkenberg was able to join in, so that is great. So you won't be losing, you won't be thinking he won the race in certain cases. with those disconnections. And so Hulkenbro, who is going to have to take control of the car at a safe moment, will be very tricky to do so in the S's. And I do see Hafernix, I believe, picked up a penalty, and so that is a 3-second penalty there for Hafernix. He does have Wilson West, who just came out of the pits right behind him. And so Kerndog, who is right behind of Hulkenbro, and Hulkenbro actually managing to take control of the car now in a really probably the best moment right there on the straight. Although Kerndog is going to get the upper hand here with the DRS and manages to get the overtake done on the Williams. So Kerndog now moving up into 7th. And so up in the front, looks like we do have High RPM, who has now chosen to pit. We do have Buddha, who is going to be getting the overtake done as High RPM pits. So Buddha now up into second. He is about 10 seconds and a half behind of Mama Smith. So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm looking forward to seeing how this reverse strategy is going to play out. Looks like we do have Hulkenbro, who... Actually, no, that looks like that was Hafren coming into the pit lane. Now switching over to a fresh set of hard compounds, so the driver's getting past him. And it looks like we do have yellow flags, and that might actually be the kick Sauber of Variable Zeus, who might be struggling with those fresh set of hard compounds. Looking at the mid-pack, we do have Kerndog, who is now right on the back of Untradeable Teammate, who has still yet to pit. And Kerndog, having come out of the pits 2 laps earlier, now with those 2-lap-old hard compounds, are going to have much better grip compared to Untradeable Teammate. And Untradeable Teammate going a little bit wide right there. And is that going to cost him a little bit of time? Kerndog is going to have the DRS. We did see Kerndog with a little bit of a rocket ship on the straight with the previous overtakes. And so Kerndog, once again, able to get the overtake done on the Alpine of Untradeable Teammate. And looks like right behind them, not exactly sure if there was contact between Hulkenbro and MGZ, but Hulkenbro having gone sideways and was briefly ghosted, so MGZ now getting the move done on Hulkenbro's, but also Hulkenbro does have those 12-lap-old hard compounds. Oof, and a little bit of a struggle there from Untradeable Teammates. So yeah, those medium tires are definitely going to be a little bit of a struggle, and Untradeable Teammate going a little bit wide once again on the same corner actually, and Kerndog now picking up a 3-second penalty. And with how close the battle has been between these two, MGZ and Kerndog, that might hurt him there at the end. And even though we're keeping an eye here between Kerndog and MJZ, I have been looking at the delta up in the front. So Buddha, who was over 10 seconds behind of Mama Smith, now cutting out 2 seconds from that gap, and it looks like those hard compounds now starting to kick in. MGZ is going to be having the DRS right behind of Kerndog, although it looks like might not be close enough to try going for an overtake. Going to try going on the outside, and a little bit of a late break. And can he make the move stick? No, Kerndog going to keep that position, putting his car in a really good spot to try maintaining that position there. And looks like that was a little bit of contact right there between the two, but both of them giving each other just enough space. Kerndog trying to take that position, going there on the outside. Both of them... Wow, MGZ actually with 1 lap younger tires. And can that tire difference be what makes the difference at the end of this race? So Kern Dog once again with the DRS, looking to make a move on the inside. And not able to make the move. Stick up ahead, we do have Wilson West, who has picked up a 3-second penalty now. Does have a comfortable gap ahead of high RPM. And I was looking at the penalties here, so we do have quite a few penalties having come out. This track is very technical in terms of the penalties. We did see quite a number of them on Tier 1, but looking at the penalties, we do have West, we do have Kern Dog, who, as I was right on board with Kern Dog, unfortunately losing the car. And I do believe he picked up damage, so we'll take a quick look. Hopefully if they give me the broadcast view. And that is a V-carb coming out right, or following right behind him. I do believe that is Niklaus, who actually also loses the car right there, right on the exit. So unfortunately Niklaus, I do think that's a bit of debris, and that might actually be his end plate as well. So Niklaus now trying to get back onto the track, and looks like he is going to be missing his left end plate. So very unfortunate for Niklaus there. He was doing quite well, and looking back at Kern Dog, who had also had that spin, also missing his right end plate. So we have a couple of little incidences happening here and there with the drivers losing the car. And looks like that does free up MGZ from a little bit of pressure from having those battles with Kern Dog. And so MGZ with a 5-second gap behind of high RPM in fourth, and over 5-second gap ahead of Hulkenbro. So MGZ might be running a little bit of a lonely race right there now. And up ahead, we actually have Buddha, who, coming out of the pits, was over 10 seconds behind of the Ferrari of Mama Smith, now managing to cut that down to now 5 seconds, 5.2 seconds to be exact. And so, as I mentioned in Tier 1, we did have our hard compound runner take about 16 laps of these hard compounds. And so, Mama Smith might be looking to extend that now, or possibly looking to pit here at the end of this lap. But Buddha has now cut in another second from that. Now looks like to be less than 4 seconds behind of the Ferrari. And up in the mid-pack, we actually have Hafernix closing in on the back of Hulkenbro. And I don't think Hulkenbro has any damage, although he does have 15-lap-old hard compounds and is going to be entering the pit lane. So Hafernix is going to get that overtake done easily and gain the position up into 6th now. Oof, and I do see we have yellow flags. That might be... Actually, looks like that is going to be the V-carb of Niklaus getting out the way of the drivers that are lapping him. And we do appreciate the drivers who get out the way. I always like to mention, even though ghosting is on, you never know if our drivers race with cockpit view. So it is a little bit of a distraction sometimes when you do see a ghosted car on the racing line. But it looks like Hulkenbro is going to come out right behind the Red Panda. Hulkenbro with a fresh set of medium tires. And very close, right on the back of the McLaren. So he's going to have the DRS here on the next upcoming DRS straight. And so can Hulkenbro try getting that position, looking to make a move on the inside, and actually makes a really nice attempt, both of them giving each other just enough space, and Hulkenbro manages to get the overtake done and does have the DRS now to pull him further ahead. Although Red Panda, using that battery just a little bit, tried to remain right behind of the Williams, and looks like he's going to stay right behind. Exist now picking up a 3-second penalty, and so that is going to be 13 seconds in total for the Red Bull. And he does have 2 drivers right behind him within that penalty gap. So Vroom and Nobody's Outlaw looking to possibly try gaining some those positions as long as they keep it consistent. And so up ahead, Oh Mama Smith keeping or remaining on the hard compounds, now 17 lap old hard compounds. Buddha now a second has managed to cut down 10 seconds now to 1 second. Right behind of the Ferrari. Kerndog picking up now the fastest lap, which is going to be a 1:36.1. And if you are watching for the first time, if you do get the fastest lap and remain in the top 10, then you will be getting those 2 extra points. And so I do wonder if Oh Mama Smith is going to choose to pit this lap or just try defending for an extra lap. And looks like he is going to be entering the pit lane. And so Buddha, now retaking the lead of the race, has a comfortable gap of over 8 seconds ahead of Wilson West, who he was battling for the first couple of laps. And so Oh Mama Smith, who has now switched over to the fresh set of mediums, looking to come out ahead of the kick Sauber of higher PM. And now that we have pretty much all the drivers pit, I am going to take a quick look at the position changes. So we do have higher PM with the highest position changes of 10 positions. So really great performance by him. I think we've seen him do it before. And so yeah, higher PM, who is always he has great pace. So I'm not surprised he's able to make it work here on this track. And we also do have our second highest position gain, and that appears to be Buddha, having gotten some overtakes done on the opening lap as well. And most position losses, unfortunately, Red Panda, who did have that spin and did have that wing damage, still manages to put himself there on the mid pack, sitting in 8th at the moment. Does have those 3 seconds of penalties, but is within that penalty or 6 penalty gap of 6-second penalty gap of Hulkenberg, since Hulkenberg has 9. It looks like we do have quite a few gaps that have opened up, though we do now have untradeable teammate right on the back of Kerndog. So untradeable teammate who is sitting is the only driver on the table who doesn't have a penalty. Has 4 drivers ahead of him with penalties, 3 drivers behind him with penalties. So untradeable teammate in a good position right now at the moment. And as I say that, I'm almost losing the car. So please don't make me commentators jinx you. And right behind we have Guardians and Eingel giving a little bit of a battle as well. So Guardians, who managed to get the overtake done on Eingel, now Eingel retaking that position. So Eingel, who does have 5 lap younger tires. I do see we have yellow flags. That might be the V-carb of Niklaus there in Sector 1. And I did notice that we also had another driver pick up a 3-second penalty. So that was Red Panda, now up to 6 seconds in total. And so Guardians, with the DRS, does have a bit of battery to use. Can he get the overtake done here into turn 1 ahead of Eingel? Eingel with a little bit of a lay break. And both of them giving each other just enough room. And so Eingel is going to remain ahead. Guardian is not able to get the overtake done. Up in the back, we do have Exist right on the back of Room. But looks like he isn't going to be able to get the attack either. And as I switch out of Guardians picking up a 3-second penalty now. And so that is both Eingel and Guardians with 6 seconds in total. And we do have Oh Mama Smith, who has now stolen the fastest lap from Kerndog. So Oh Mama Smith with a 1:35.1. That is, as I mentioned, an extra 2 points. And that can definitely help him there in terms of the championship battle. As it stands from last week's win, Oh Mama Smith is our leading driver in the championship standings. Oof, and looks like we do have yellow flags once again. The Klaus might be struggling a little bit here on this track. Trying to get that car straight and still spinning out, turning the V-Carb into a bit of a lawnmower, but I will definitely give him his respects for keeping his head down and just trying to finish this race. And so, yeah, we did have a couple of drivers, as I mentioned last week, joining in for the season, learning the no traction control. As I mentioned before, these drivers don't race with traction control. They only have certain assists available. And so, yeah, big respects trying to improve. I do love to see on the Discord chat some of them asking for advice on how they can get better, how to get faster. And so, yeah, as I like to mention, this group is definitely an opportunity to really, yeah, get some laps in. Just try knowing, your weaknesses and your strengths. And yeah, to those drivers who did join in, then big respects, and honestly wishing all the best for the rest of the season. And it looks like we do have Hafernix, who has picked up a 3-second penalty. Guardians and Eingel are closest battle at the moment. Guardians with the DRS, not using his battery yet, so just choosing to remain right behind of the Aston Martin of Eingel. We do have about 7 laps remaining, including this lap. And so anything could happen here at the end. And looking up at the front, West doing a really good job to try maintaining that gap ahead of Mama Smith, who does have those fresh set of medium tires, so over 5 seconds behind of the Williams ahead. And looks like we do have Guardians, who has another opportunity to try getting the overtake done. Angel, who went a little bit wide off track, but looks like he is going to be remaining ahead of the Mercedes driver. And so, yeah, we do have Niklaus, who has chosen to pit, now switching over to a fresh set of soft tires. An opportunity to try taking the fastest lap from Mama Smith. And so Eingel, with 4-lap younger tires than Guardians, doing really well to use that to his advantage, maintaining ahead of the Mercedes. Guardians, even with the DRS and even with the battery to use there, not able to get an attack done. Looking up ahead, Mama Smith was over 5 seconds behind of West, has managed to cut that down a bit, now to 4.7 seconds behind of the Williams. And having a comfortable gap ahead of the Kick Sauber of higher RPM of over 9 seconds. And as I mentioned, MGZ having a little bit of his own race after Kerndog losing the car right behind him. So MGZ, yeah, 12 seconds behind of higher RPM, 4 seconds ahead of Pafernix. And I did see that someone did pick up another 3-second penalty, and that I believe was Hafernix. Now 9 seconds in total. I'm pretty sure it was one of the Mercedes drivers. Guardians as well, picking up having 6 seconds in total. And tailing right behind of Eingel, who has 9 seconds. So Guardians also might be looking to try playing it safe, if just trying to maintain within that 3-second penalty gap that's left between the two. Although, of course, you never know if drivers can appeal those penalties, so that is something to take into account. But looks like Guardians might be closer than he was before. And is he going to look to get the overtake done here? And is going to be looking to make a move here on the inside. Looks like no, is going to slow down just enough. Although Eingel going a little bit, just a tad bit deep. And so Guardians there on the outside, and that is a little bit of contact there between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes. And Angel taking the position back from Guardians. So Guardians with the 14-lap-old hard compounds, Angel 9-lap-olds. We do have 5 laps remaining, including this one. I am also keeping an eye on the gap between Oh Mama Smith and Wes, to which Oh Mama Smith has actually managed to cut that down almost less than 3 seconds, and looks like he has managed to cut it down to that. So it might be a race, or it might be a battle towards the end of the race if Oh Mama Smith is able to cut that time even further. And so looks like we do have Guardians, who is now much closer than he was the lap previous, and is going to have a really good exit here. Can he make the move stick to get that position? He is going to have the DRS now, is going to have plenty of battery there to use, and so Guardians looking to make a move there on the outside. A little bit of contact, but looks like no harm, no foul. Angle trying to break a little bit late, and that is going to be a little bit of contact between the two once again. Guardians doing really well to keep his cool and just try waiting for an even better opportunity there. Might have been a little bit of a late break there from Angel, but of course we only see a certain part of that view. And it looks like we have a couple more penalties coming out. So Exist and Hulkenberg picking up a 3-second penalty. And it looks like we do have yellow flags. That might be Nick Klaus, who is once again struggling a little bit there to get that car straightened out. And up in the front, looks like Oh Mama Smith now keeping a comfortable pace behind of Wilson Hues, who does have that 3-second penalty. Oh Mama Smith looking to possibly try securing that P2 at the end of the race. And looks like Guardians and Angel, still a little bit of contact between these two. Guardians with a little bit more battery compared to the Aston Martin, and can he try going for another attempt here? Angel going a bit too deep, and Guardians with a really nice exit, and is going to be trying to use that battery. Does have the flap open, and so Guardians getting the overtake done, manages to put himself up into 11th. Angel once again trying to attempt to move on the inside, and is going to run a little bit deep, and looks like Guardians may have actually expected that and is going to remain ahead of the Aston Martin now. So really nice awareness from Guardians to to dodge that. I think he learned the lesson from the last lap. I was expecting it, and so yeah, Guardians doing well to now gain that position, finally getting past Angel, and now gaining even more time of over a second. And it looks like we do have Angel, who might have actually lost control there on the final corner there, and has now lost significant time behind of Guardians, and has also lost the position there to Vroom as well. Now under pressure there from actually no, looks like that might actually be our race leaders, who Wilson Hues getting the move done there on the lap driver of Vangel. And looks like Angel getting out the way there for the Ferrari of Oh Mama Smith as well. So yeah, we do appreciate that. And it looks like Wilson West as well lapping. I do believe that is the McLaren of Room. And now it looks like those medium tires might be giving Oh Mama Smith a little bit of a struggle here. That gap did open back up to almost over 3 seconds, although might just be the nature of the corners as well. And so we are currently on lap 27 out of 28, the penultimate lap. And we do have Buddha, who has crossed the line as well to start his final lap. Buddha, with a very comfortable gap of over 8 seconds, has put in a really incredible performance, especially with those overtakes at the start. And Oh Mama Smith, who looks like has put in a little bit of the throttle. So now trying to close that gap once again behind of the Williams of West. Looking to secure that P2 finish, considering West does have that 3-second penalty. And looks like we do have a couple battles in the mid-pack as well. So Current Dog actually getting the move done on Red Panda. Both of the drivers with these 6 seconds of penalties. Ooh, looks like Red Panda may have gotten disconnected there on the final lap. Untradeable teammate might actually be able to close that gap. I don't think he'll be able to join back. I don't think I'll be able to join back for the final corners there, but yeah, Wilson West, who is now 2.7 seconds ahead of the Ferrari, as I mentioned, does have that 3-second penalty. Mama Smith might have actually had that the DRS from the McLaren there, who was getting lapped. And so Buddha coming back after having missed last week for round one, coming back here for round two, manages to get the win. And we do have Wilson West who's going to cross the line in second. Oh Mama Smith, who actually lost a bit of time there on the final corners and is going to actually remain in third. It doesn't manage to close in that 3-second gap and is going to remain in third. Very unfortunate considering he did have the pace there on the final lap to keep it there, but still a well-deserved podium. I think we do have a couple of gaps closing in. Red Panda, do believe he is still disconnected. Can Untradeable teammate manage to try closing that gap there on the final corners? And I don't think he will be able to do it. Does have 14 lap old hard compound, struggling a little bit there on the traction, but still keeping the car straight and keeping the car there on the in the top 10. And so we have Untradeable team, and it looks like we're actually just waiting as well for Variable Zeus, who is going to cross the line. Alrighty, and so that is going to be round 2 of season 7. We'll go over the final race results. And Red Panda saying the game cost him that P7. Yeah, I do think yeah, Current Dog did actually manage to get the move done. Yeah, so Buddha for the win, and in second we have Wilson Huez, who is going to be actually be having, if I'm not mistaken, that's his second podium in this league. So big congratulations to him. In third we have Old Mama Smith, who also managed to get the 2 extra points for the fast lap with a 135.1. That those 3 are our podium runners, so mega congratulations to them. In fourth, we do have High RPM, who phenomenal job climbing up 10 positions from P14 to P4. Incredible pace. And in fifth, we have MGZ. In sixth, we have Hafernix, Hulkenbro in seventh, Kern Dog eighth, Red Panda ninth, Untradeable Teammate, our top 10. Guardians in 11th, Room 12, Nobody's Outlaw 13, Eingel 14, Exist 15, Variable Zeus 16, Nick Klaus in 17. So all our drivers managing to finish the race, get some points in. Um, of course, as I mentioned, we have drivers who are still learning the no traction control. So big respects to them for keeping their head down and trying to just get the card across the line. And so we do appreciate that resilience. So yeah, big congratulations to them no matter what. As we like to mention, you get points no matter what position you finish, as long as you cross the line or finish at least 95% of the race, if I'm not mistaken. I always have to take a quick look at that. But yeah, honestly, it was a really good race. A couple good battles, a couple of interesting moves. But we will be seeing more next week. We do have round three, and that is going to be, take a quick look because I don't memorize. That will be in Japan. So Suzuka, a track favorite for a lot of our drivers. So that is going to be a really interesting race. We do have our No Assist Division 1 group in about an hour and 8 minutes. So make sure you give a subscribe so that way you can actually watch the race with us. That will be commentated by me. And we will be having a guest joining in on the commentators booth as well. So looking forward to seeing that. And yeah, as I mentioned, just make sure you give us a little bit of a subscribe, give us a like. We're not professional commentators, but we do try giving all our drivers a bit of spotlight uh, and something to watch back. But yeah, big congratulations to all our drivers. We look forward to seeing next week's race, and we do look forward to seeing the next race tonight, Tharnosis Division 1 group. Uh, Make sure you, if you're interested in racing, you could join our Discord. That is going to be on our YouTube description. And yeah, everybody is always welcome, whether you're a beginner or experienced driver, no matter what. But yeah, big congratulations to everyone once again. We'll catch you guys on the next race. Have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching from.